Hello friends, and welcome back to Bake a Leg and Let's Dig It. I'm Melody. I'm happy to have you here. Have you ever gone into Starbucks and had their lemon loaf? Well, I'm going to do like a Starbucks knockoff of their lemon loaf that is actually better than Starbucks. So, thought I would bring you along today. I zested the lemon. I will tell you what is in the recipe. I'll also leave it down in the description box. So you're going to need 1 1/3 cups of flour. I don't have any of the dry ingredients out yet, but that only takes a couple minutes. 1 3/4 teaspoon of baking powder, half a teaspoon of salt, half a cup of softened butter that I have out, 3 eggs that I also have out. You'll need a cup of sour cream, 1 1/2 tablespoons of lemon zest. Usually roughly from 1 lemon, mine was 2. I guess it depends on the size of your lemon. 2 tablespoons of lemon juice, which I have in here already done. And you'll need a tablespoon of lemon extract. If you don't have it, don't worry about it, just omit it, or you can add a little bit of vanilla in. So let's say you'll preheat your oven to 350. It will bake for 60 minutes. You're basically just going to put all your dry ingredients together. You can sift it to make sure you don't have any clumps. Do that. Put it in a separate bowl. And then in the standing mixer, you're going to be basically creaming your butter and sugar until it's like a real pale, fluffy yellow. And then you'll go in with your 3 eggs one at a time, your cup of sour cream, the lemon zest, but yada yada. I'll bring you along for all that. So I have some of the ingredients out at room temperature, some not so much. I have dinner in the oven, and I'm looking forward to this because if you know, you know. I will say this, Starbucks' lemon loaf is really, really good, but this beats their lemon loaf. So, super excited to bring you along for this recipe today. And what I'm going to start off with first, let me show you. So, let's talk about pan size. You can use a 4x8 loaf pan, or you can use a 5x9 loaf pan. I'm using a Rachel Ray one that I buttered and I lightly floured. And yeah, I knocked out the extra flour. Or you could just put parchment paper in there, or just grease it with any type of spray. So that's a 4x8 loaf pan, or you can use a 5x9 loaf pan. You will love this. Preheat your oven to 350. You'll bake it for 60 minutes or until a toothpick comes out clean. And also, you'll get approximately 10 slices. You can also do the lemon glaze on the top. I may or may not do that. If I do it, I'm going to put it on the side so you can drizzle it on your own piece if you want, because I don't know if my son likes the lemon glaze. Okay, enough yapping. Let's make the video. So first things first, we're going to cream the butter and sugar together. I don't have all the ingredients out, but that's okay. Let me see. How much butter again? I already had forgotten. Half a cup of butter. We're going to put in the KitchenAid that is clean. And I have had it out, so you do want most of your ingredients to be room temperature. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start creaming the butter first while I get out the sugar. And now we're going to go in with our 2/3 cup of sugar. Just like so. We're just basically going to let this cream until it gets a little bit pale. Well, actually until it gets extremely light. And then we are going to do our eggs. So I'm going to crack 3 eggs in a separate bowl. Okay, so that looks pretty good. I'm going to lift this up before I add the eggs and scrape it down. As soon as I can find my scraper. Sorry about my arm. Okay, let's scrape it all down. So I had purchased these eggs. They are Eggland's Best. Let me tell you, the worst. I tried to make egg salad, and they were like the hardest eggs I've ever had to get the shells off of. It was atrocious. And just now, they just weren't cracking that great. So thank God, I always crack mine in a separate bowl. But I'm never getting those eggs again. I'm going to stay with the cage-free, roam-free. Because even having chickens like I did, I never had so much trouble peeling an egg. Alright, so this is scraped down. And now, we're going to go in with one egg at a time. Turn it up a little bit. And 3. This will be going in with our sour cream. So this is where you want it to keep going. Give it a scrape down. You want this to get a little fluffy, pale yellow. Don't rush it. Okay, now I'm going to go in and add my sour cream. I did scrape it down multiple times. Okay. 1 cup of sour cream. See if I can get this in there without making a mess. Okay, sorry about that. I got the sour cream in there. My son just came home from work, so I just fed him. So we're going to mix the sour cream in. That's 1 cup of sour cream. Run it out. So for the lemon zest, let's see, I might have just zested enough. 1.5 tablespoons. 1. We will get all that out of here. I'm not going to waste any of it. My hands are clean. So 1.5 tablespoons of lemon zest. Goes right on in. That's what makes it, is the lemon. I'm going to mix this up with sour cream. Make sure the sour cream is all incorporated really well. And then we're going to go in with 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. Now, like I said, I don't have lemon extract, but I added a good bit of the lemon juice, so it should be good there. You can put in, let's do it. We'll just do like a drop or 2 of vanilla. But it's supposed to be lemon extract, but that's okay. Okay, Let's give this a scrape down. I made chicken cordon bleus for dinner tonight. So get it all off the paddle. You could do as much mixing as you want. I always say this, until you have the flour in, don't overmix. Okay. Now I am going to be getting out our dry ingredient. Mix this more, get out the dry ingredient. I'm not sure what you saw. I scraped it, I did the lemon juice, put the lemon zest in there. That's it. Now we're moving on to the dry ingredients. I thought I had it off pause. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my 1/3, even it out. So you need 1 1/3 cups. So I'm just going to do my 1/3 first. Try to not make a mess. Perfect. And now we need 1 cup. I just level it off with my finger. You can level it off with a leveler, a butter knife. Okay, let's see how I'm going to do this. Let's go with that. I have a bigger one, just not here. I just wanted to sift it. Let's put the rest in there. And then I'm going to do the same with my other ingredients. Our dry ingredients, that is. So we need a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Anything sweet, you need something to counter that. So we're just going to set this right on top of the flour. There's the salt. Then you need 1 3/4 teaspoons baking powder. Let's get the baking powder. Not baking soda, baking powder. I always keep my tags inside my little jars. Let me move this out of your way. So let's see. So we'll do the 1 teaspoon first. Level it off, put it right in there. And then I need 3/4. Just gonna that is the baking powder. We did our salt. That's pretty much it for the dry. 1 1/3 cups of flour, 1 3/4 teaspoon of baking powder, 1/2 teaspoon of salt. That's it. So let's give this a little shimmy shake. So if you get, which this might be my salt because I use kosher salt. Okay, done. I put the lid on my flour, so we're not going to need that. I always say this. It takes longer to record the video than it does to actually make it. And now, let's turn it on. I like to click it back and forth so it doesn't fly everywhere. I'm going to give it a quick scrape down from the flour. I have to preheat the oven. I didn't even do that yet. And then we're going to give this a quick mix. Incorporate it. I count to 10 and call it done. Okay, and now we are going to let me preheat the oven. So the oven will be at 350 as soon as that preheats. In the meantime, I'm going to put it in my pan. Let's get it all off the paddle. Noisy over here, but I like to get it all off. Okay, good enough. Give it a good scrape. And this is going to go into our prepared pan, and then I won't put it in the oven until the oven preheats. So let me make a little bit of room here so you can see what's going on. Didn't make a humongous mess. Okay, this is our pan. You can make this anytime, but like spring's really good. But if you don't feel like paying the cost of Starbucks, well, make it at home. Or if you don't go into a Starbucks, you never had it, try this recipe. You will absolutely love it. So I just drip some on the floor. Make sure you get it all out of your bowl. All that goodness. My hands are clean. Okay. And then what I usually do is give it a little shake and a couple drops with the pan to get out any air bubbles. Once the oven preheats, then I'm going to put it in the oven for, depends on my son's oven, but 60 minutes usually, about an hour, until a toothpick comes out clean. Now, if you don't want the icing or glaze, you could just sprinkle a little lemon zest on the top of it as well if you're not trying to have all that. But the lemon glaze, so you can get prepared, is 1 cup of powdered sugar, a tablespoon of lemon juice, tablespoon of milk, and a tablespoon of butter melted. All right, friends, I'll bring you back. This is what it looks like. Gorgeous. Smells so lemony and fresh. So, those were organic lemons too, by the way. Okay, I'll bring you back when it comes out of the oven. Okay, so let me show you what I did because I forgot to turn on the camera. This is the lemon glaze, which is only 1 cup of powdered sugar. I sifted it. Tablespoon of lemon juice went into that. Tablespoon, I used half and half, and a tablespoon of melted butter. And this is the consistency you should have with it. See where it's like drippy? You don't want it super thick. So that's done. Just checked the lemon loaf, and it needs a couple more minutes. So when that's done, I'll bring it back. Okay, I just took it out of the oven because it is done, and now I'm going to let it rest for a few minutes, and I'll bring it back when we go to get it out of the pan. Okay, we're going to try to get this out of the pan because I didn't use parchment paper. We're going to put it on the rack. I left it cool long enough to take my dog out to go potty. It's so cold out there. I'm just running a butter knife down the sides, which hopefully comes right out and doesn't stick. Still on the warm side, so watch out, Coco. Oh. Let's try it again. I didn't have parchment paper. I wouldn't usually take a chance because you want your baked goods to come out of the pan, but I buttered it and floured it. Now I'm just gonna run the knife, and we shall see. We're gonna let that sit a minute. Okay, I think it's still pretty warm. It's not kind of coming out. Oh, there we go. It's a little bit more of a fragile loaf. Now we have to let it sit there and cool so it doesn't fall apart, but this is done. Gonna love it. We can drizzle this over it. You can just cut it by the slice for your guest and then drizzle it over it. It's your choice, but you're gonna love this recipe. Super duper easy. Let me let this cool further, and then we'll try a piece. So what I've decided, this is pretty cool. What I decided I'm going to do is turn this on, fluff this up, and half of this is going to go to a friend of mine because my son said he doesn't like lemon now, so that's okay. It's all good. So it should be drippy like that. So I'm going to cut a piece. So I don't want to put it all over it. When half is going to go out the door because I'm not going to eat all of it. So let's get a knife, shall we? It's a cross between like a cake and a loaf. Let's see. Look at that. Look at that. Definitely better than Starbucks any day. So I am going to have this piece for me. Okay. I just cheated. All right, let's get a little bit on here. We'll taste test it. I took a picture of it plain. I never remember to take a picture of it before I cut into it. And then you would just do it like this across the entire top if you're making it for at home. That is amazing. Tart. Let's see. Absolutely better than Starbucks, and it's very moist, and it has that slight tang. Absolutely delicious. So, thanks for hanging out with me. I hope that you try this lemon loaf. I'll leave the ingredients down below under the show notes. And you can make this Sunday. You can have it with coffee, tea. Absolutely flawless. All right, friends. Thanks for hanging out with me. And I'll see you on the next one. Gotta make it. It's delicious.